Hi, Ryan here. Back in the previous candy video, I showed you how to make hard candy with sugar. But today, I'm going to show you a cool technique for how to make sugar-free candy molded with cornstarch. Let's start with our ingredients. We got some citric acid to make the candy sour. We're going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of that. And then we're going to use some pineapple flavor from this pineapple flavor oil right here. Let's get a 1/4 teaspoon as well of that. So now we're going to use our special ingredient, isomalt. Now isomalt over here is a chemical that can imitate the structure of sugar, but it doesn't raise blood sugar levels or have any of the bad health effects that sugar does, making it a lot better for you to eat. We're going to use a 1/4 cup of that. Then our final ingredient is just a 1/4 cup of plain water. Now in the previous video, we used this Lego brick ice cube mold, but I'm going to show you a technique that has a lot more flexibility in the kinds of shapes you can make. I got these 2 bowls filled with cornstarch, and I 3D printed this little plastic disc here. Then I hot glued it to a pair of disposable chopsticks. What we're going to do is we're going to use the back end of this to level off the cornstarch so that it's nice and smooth. Then we're going to do the same on the other bowl. Doesn't need to be perfectly flat, but it's good enough as it is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over and we're going to use this plastic disc to stamp an imprint into the cornstarch. It doesn't need to be perfect, but you can see it's pretty smooth there. And what we're going to do with this is that imprint is going to become the mold. We're going to pour the candy once it's fully cooked into that to harden. And now we're going to do it a bunch of times to create a bunch of these little imprints. Each one of these is going to be a candy. So now we're going to take our isomalt and water in the pot, and we're going to put it on the stove. We're going to heat it up, and we're going to let that sit until it gets to around 340 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that it's at 340 degrees Fahrenheit, we're just going to move it to another burner so that it can cool down and not continue to heat up. And now we're going to wait for it to cool down to around 280 degrees Fahrenheit. So now that it's cooled down a lot, we're going to start the burner up a little, very low, just so that it doesn't cool down too quickly. We're going to move it back. And now we're going to add our flavor and citric acid. I'm just going to stir with the thermometer because this works well enough. Now we're just going to pour in our citric acid. Now that it's cooled down all the way to around 240, and we've added all of our ingredients, it's time to mold the candy. We're just going to pour it in very slowly and carefully. And now that we've poured it fully, we're just going to wait overnight for this to harden. Now that it's hardened, you can just pluck it out of the mold, and they should be hard and ready to eat. All you need to do is just dust off the cornstarch